Hey, Bikeaholics, Zero 3D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Affordable chrome, lighting, and comfort products. That's right. These guys ride and support riders just like you. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/Zero. Don't forget, we love Zero so much, we now carry it right in the Law Abiding Biker store. Big Daddy Kane has it ready to ship to you direct right this very minute. So you want to support us, get your Zero 3D stuff from our store. And now, straight from the Law Abiding Biker Media Studio,
out of sunny Yakima, Washington,
we bring you another episode of the
#1 listen to motorcycle podcast.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
So, Oscar, little story. So, you know how much that we, our audience and everybody that's bought one loves the Biker Gripper cell phone mount. We run them on all of our law-abiding biker bikes here.
Yes.
We run them. This is cool. So we didn't have those because we're talking about police motors, and we're going to get into this is part 2 of 2. If you haven't listened to part 101, you really need to listen to that so you'll be up to speed on this, because we're going to carry on with some of that subject matter and some questions that were asked in the live chat. We are live, but we didn't have those on our police bikes, Oscar, on our Harley-Davidson Electroglides that I ride every day. And they are absolutely the best motorcycle mount in the world, guys. That's why we have them in our store. Look at the reviews on our store, lawabidingbiker.com/store. There's a reason that there's that many 5-star reviews, and people do that because they are so impressed with it. If you want to get hooked up with the one, we've got multiple different models over there, guys. You've heard us talk about them. 18 pounds grip strength, all that, I'm telling you. So I put in a memo. I thought, I like, LAB donates money to different charities and things we get asked. And so I try to donate where I can, but I'm like, why not just donate to our own agency? And so I put in a memo. I'm like, we should have these on our police bikes, on our Electroglides. So I put in a memo and I told them, hey, not only is it a great tool, for us, for multiple reasons, just for emergencies, for something to pop up or the sergeant needs us, can't always get us on the radio or whatnot. And also we travel a lot. We're going later next week. In fact, I'm going to we go every year to motorcycle escort school refresher. And you never know where your hotel is going to be. So it's great to have the GPS up there on your phone. And we never had that before. So I put in a memo and I told them I would donate and install them on every single police bike we have if they approved it. And hey, how about that, dude? They approved it, and Law Abiding Biker Media donated those to my agency, and I installed personally one on every single one of our police motors. The guys are elated.
Chrome or black?
Number one, because it's just such a great tool that we should have had a long time ago. Number two, it's so sleek and sexy, and I shit you not. Because you know me, I got to test everything. It's my product.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally ride our course. And if you've seen videos, sometimes you can get a shot of it. I ride our courses. I rode the recent NAMOA, North American Motor Officers Association course with my
phone plugged in.
I leave it in there just because then guys ask me about it. It's a great conversation piece. They're like, dude, did you ride through? Yeah, no, it stays up there. And no problem, guys, in a serious, bar lock, bam, bam, bar locks back and forth. That phone never budges, dude, straight up. So we are running those on our bikes. And so I thought that was kind of cool to tell the audience about that. And yes, I did donate them. And so it's cool to have those on our bikes.
I saw that on there. I was proud of you.
Yeah. Alcoholics, do you have your grip on?
The Biker Gripper.
Simply the best motorcycle cell phone, GPS, radar detector, and EFI tuner mount on the market.
Oh, it grips so tight.
That's right, 18 pounds grip strength to be exact.
So sleek and strong.
That's right, fits American or metric motorcycles and comes in black or chrome.
So what are you waiting for? Get your grip on.
You can get the Biker Gripper exclusively in the Law Abiding Biker store. Head over to www.lawabidingbiker.com/store and get your grip on. So, Oscar, some of the things that came up, this is part 2 of 2. Yes, that is Oscar in the house, of course.
I was actually dancing a little bit.
You were dancing. I was too. I was feeling
I have rhythm.
It's hot up here.
Yeah,
you guys have
just
no
me, dude.
idea.
Just me.
Yeah, if you could see us, we're like shiny, sweaty. I've told you guys in the past, we don't have an AC unit up here. It runs off the rest of the house, and it's clearly 10 degrees warmer up here. And this is episode 2, and I got a fan running on high on my MacBook Pro, video cameras and mixers, and it gets probably 15 degrees hotter than the rest of the house.
My nipples are like 25
It's just plain
degrees
stale
hotter.
up here.
Oh, yeah. They're hot.
Dude, your nipples probably
They're
are
sweating.
very warm, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know why that came up.
I don't either. But we had some good questions, and we are live.
A bunch,
We
yeah.
had some good questions that we're going to follow up on part 2 of police motors units, motorcycle units, and motorcycle school inside look, behind the scenes, everything you need to know or may have wanted to know. So we're doing a second live episode. I got asked about gear. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, we already talked about pricing, maintenance. We're going to talk about maintenance. Some people were asking about maintenance on the motorcycles and kind of what schedule we follow. Do we do anything different because they're police motorcycles? That'll be an interesting topic. We're going to break down and actually get into Oscar recently went to motor school. And again, you need to listen to episode 101 before you listen to this one. So you'll understand everything and why we're talking about in the order of things we're talking about. So with that said, we are going to get started here. Oscar, we had some great questions, and that kind of spurred some of the conversation. And so hopefully in the live chat room in this episode, if you guys have some questions, we do have to try to at least keep it on track. Because, man, it's almost like we could do 3 episodes, Oscar. You know what I mean? What's going on in the live chat already?
Channing Rankin says, this is an alternate use for the biker gripper. He says, my wife hasn't left me alone since I got the biker gripper. She's turned into an animal. Nice. I did not know that it could be used that way, but awesome.
That's funny.
Every day I learn new things.
Welcome back, Bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the 99%. I'll say it for you. He's over there chatting, dude. That's right.
I can't focus.
Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. Our voices, your voices are being heard because we are the 99% out there. We are what we like to call part of the biker revolution. That's right. Eric Showers just threw us another super chat, $2. Just ordered UB arm tattoo sleeves with affiliate link. Look at that guy, dude. Because we talked about the arm sleeves. Not only did it throw us another super chat, he freaking went and ordered. Man, Eric, God bless you guys. God bless everybody that supports us. That's right. Let's get into it. Oscar, they should mount up. They should mount up and take another wild-ass ride with you. And we're not going to do the, what were we talking about? What did he call it? Not the straddle thing. There was a name for it.
Oh, the reverse cowgirl.
The reverse cowgirl. We're not doing the damn reverse cowgirl. If you're going to, well, Oscar may let you, but I don't know. But thanks.
I was just thinking if Z is a little bit of a super thingy there, that you might do the reverse cowgirl.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Maybe. Oh, we've had some great conversations, some funny stuff. So here we are, and a lot of patrons in the group hanging out with us still. Episode 2 of 2 live. And we're going to talk about, this might be interesting too if we get to it. Viscosity of oil and hot temps. That was a question for you. We may get to that, but mostly we want to focus on that. So let's start out right here, Oscar. Let's just do it. Let's just talk about
motorcycles. Dude.
Let's just talk
I
motorcycles
think let's throw
and
caution
drink
to the
coffee.
wind. Yeah, I'm out actually.
Did you need another? Did you get some more?
I didn't.
Do you want
but
to?
It's okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I'll think about it. I have water.
If you do, you can jump up real quick.
Yeah, it's cool.
While I'm talking about something.
Nothing about me is
or while
quick,
I'm
but-
thanking patrons a little bit later or something.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So let's talk gear. Before we talk, I think the last thing we're going to talk about is your experience actually in motor school. So let's clean up a couple questions we had. Let's talk about maintenance. Or let's talk about gear.
Gear.
We talked about it a little bit.
Yep.
Why don't you open it up and talk about traditional gear versus, public relations gear versus maybe what you guys are thinking you're going to do, and go from there. And I can jump in and talk about what I use, or maybe you'll tell them what we use.
I actually just ordered...
This is police motorcycle officer gear, because
Yes.
you'll see different
right.
looks.
The department got me brand new Lieutenant Dangle shorts and high heel white pointy cowboy boots. If you've seen that video, and
I did not want to see that, bro. Dude, the
tactical romper.
A tactical. Oh my
And so
God.
it's pretty cool.
That's sweet.
You know what? Like we talked about in episode 1, that there's some tradition involved, and so one of the things from a practical standpoint, as far as gear goes for our department, was the boots. And so here's what with the issue with the boots. Now, okay, so
What
part of
boots?
this is the big boots.
Okay, so what he's talking about, so I can give you guys a visual, is they are the typical, if you look up on Google right now, motorcycle officer boots. They're what I wear on a day-to-day basis, and they're the big knee high. They cut they cut right below your knees, and all that kind of stuff. Right. So that gives them a visual. That's your traditional motorcycle officer boot. Go.
Yeah. So the boots, and they kind of go hand in hand with the breeches, with the pants, the English riding.
They
pants.
call them breeches.
Yeah, the polo shorts, polo pants,
which is what we wear.
Yes, right.
They're not quite as fluffy as some, with the big, but ours are definitely, they're called breeches. And
MC Hammer pants.
They are, right. They only go down to your shins because you're in your boots. So they actually have an elastic band, and they go down to about just above my ankles. It's a great look when I don't have my boots on walking around the house.
Yeah, they're called
slippers.
capris, dude.
Yeah,
they're called capris.
Then they're not breeches anymore. They're called capris, dude.
That's exactly why we're not wearing them.
It's a great look, dude. I wear them off duty with my flip flops. That's sweet.
And your tactical sandals.
My tactical sandals. Yeah.
From a fledgling program standpoint,
from your agency,
brand new. I get why we're not going to the boots, because they are custom fit. They're expensive. They're very expensive, and they're custom fit, and they're a one-time deal. So, we're trying to get the program off the ground. They're like, "Hey, you guys already have uniforms and boots, and you have jumpsuits. We can wear that, and once we get the program established, which means like getting everyone to accept that it's a part of the office, then we can start looking at stuff like that." So, because it's kind of gross, but like one of the reasons for the Neotech helmets is you can chuck the liner out and throw it away, buy a new liner for it.
Oh, right.
And
wash it.
Yeah,
I wash it, but yeah.
But I'm talking about, so when I'm done with that Neotech helmet, they can jerk the liner out, chuck it away, put a new liner in it, and give it to someone else with a big giant melon.
I see what you're saying.
So
yeah,
a $600
we're talking about the showy Neotech modular helmet.
Yes.
We both rock those on duty. That's what our agencies provide, and they are wonderful helmets. If you're interested in one, get it from our affiliate. I'll be doing a video on that helmet sometime this year.
Super comfortable.
Oh, they are.
A lot less. They're lighter than the Nolans. We didn't try on the Schubert, but because
the Schubert and Schubert C3 Pro and the Shoei Neotech are the exact same helmet from different companies, and they're great. They're different in a little ways, but they're both highly quality helmets. Right. So I will be doing a video on the Neotech. So keep going.
Well, so I get that. The helmet, the coats. When we get outfitted with coats and pants, riding gear, that can all be recycled to the next guy. And so that makes some economical standpoint when we're trying to sell it to, the guy with the purse strings or the gal with the purse strings, being able to say, yeah, we're getting this $300 Tourmaster coat. They're actually really nice coats. But the next guy that's similar in size, because I'm a fairly common cop size, 6'2", 220.
Right.
The next guy can wear that. But the boots are not really recyclable. Like they're a one-time thing. And they don't really have any. You could, I guess, someone, I don't know, but they don't, and they don't have much purpose outside of Motors Cop.
Right.
But my coat,
they look badass.
They do, and that's what
I know, and that's funny.
People love them. So we're going from a practical standpoint with gear, which is
that's cool. I didn't know. Yeah, I hadn't talked to you exactly what you were going to do.
I've already got.
So
my
you're not
banners.
getting there. You're not going at all to get the traditional motorcycle police boots. Not this round.
Year. I don't know about next year. I guess we'll have to see how it goes.
They are expensive. They are kind of custom fit.
Yep.
We have two guys waiting for new pairs, and they're taking a long time because they take measurements and all that kind of stuff. And you need a boot tree to get out of them. I have a boot tree here at home to get out of them. A lot of guys need boot hooks to get in them. What's going on there in the chat?
Well, I don't know. A little free balling. No
I said
Oscar
likes. I said in live chat, Oscar free balls it.
You don't worry about that. So the rest of and I like I said, I talked to every motor cop that I can get. I ask them all kinds
including me.
Including
I told you the
have.
truth.
Yes, that's true. You did, and that helped out a lot. But I've had other people tell me the exact same thing, almost in identical wording. People you've never met because they're from the different parts of the state say the exact same thing. So I know that's all legit.
Right.
And so I've talked to a lot of guys from a lot of agencies, and there's no standard. Like some guys are going high vis, other guys don't. Other places don't have high vis coats. Some guys wear armor, some guys don't wear armor. Some guys wear regular uniforms, some guys don't. Some guys wear the boots, some guys don't. Some guys wear jumpsuits. So it really came down to what we could get this year up and running on, still have some safety, and still be effective. And so I don't know if the boots are in the future. I think Z asked what brand. Good question. I'm Chippewa. Chippewa actually makes pretty good boots. I didn't realize they
from
made
Interpol. Some of these new ones zip in the back. You see that?
Yeah.
We don't have those. Like I said, we need a boot tree to get them off. I have a boot tree here at home.
Yeah.
And I don't need a boot hook to get them on, but a lot of the guys with thicker thighs have to use 2 boot hooks to get them on. They're cumbersome to get on and off. So you're not going with those. You're going with, so
I'm wearing my Danner.
Tell me what your full uniform is going to be daily from the ground up. Danner boots.
Just my Danner boots and my uniform, my regular patrol uniform.
So you guys aren't even getting different riding pants or different riding shirts, thinner shirts.
Not yet.
Okay.
So, like in order of necessity, the next thing that we're going to get are the coats. Those Tourmaster 3. I think we have our Tourmaster Olympia, one of them. They're kind of a nice uniform looking coat with the lapels.
I can't wait to see that in person.
They had them at
what's it called? I'm going to look it up.
Oh gosh, I think they're Tourmaster. They had them in Namoa. The dude was there with the coat we're going to get.
Okay.
That's the coat Wes picked out. And they
I remember what company I do because I sat down and had a beer with him. I even gave him a card and said if he wanted to come on the podcast.
It's a nice coat. And then we're going to get the matching, crappy weather pants. Right. And then from there, we're going to see how things go. But the uniform we have is fine. It's not real thick. So I think it should be fine for most motorcycle stuff. And then because it's just, there's so many things. It's kind of wearing me out.
Yeah.
There's so many unknowns because we've never done it.
Right.
And so
that's going to get ironed out in time.
It will. It causes me a little anxiety because, I just don't know.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff in my own mind I want to know, or we haven't even been on the bikes. We haven't written a single ticket. We haven't even had them out really on the road yet. So we're trying to be reasonable and go with what we have, try and use some of what we have and try and get stuff that makes sense.
Right.
And so, we get this thing up and running 3 or 4 years from now, then we'll probably go, maybe even not that long, maybe 2 or 3 years from now, we'll iron out the uniform.
Right.
And,
it makes sense.
We've got the external vests.
Yep.
I'm not going to wear mine, but Wes might wear his. So that's something even different.
Right.
Whether
You're just going to wear your typical vest underneath like I do.
Yeah, I like that. So, yeah, we're not doing the big boots, buddy. We're going pretty much practical. I think I ordered a summer weight jumpsuit that I will ride in if it ever comes, but they take forever.
Yeah.
So, and it's waterproof and stuff. And to me, that really appeals to me because I don't have to carry a coat. It's a summer weight jumpsuit that's waterproof.
Right.
So in the mornings, I just have the sleeves on, and then at 11 or when it's hot, I just unzip the sleeves and stuff in my saddlebag.
That's interesting. It'll be interesting to see some of this gear.
Yeah.
Because you guys are being progressive.
We're trying,
you know, and so I don't get to see some of that stuff. With that said, I'll tell you what I wear, and then why. And so my agency and the people that I have, they really support our motors unit, and I can't say enough nice things about that. And I will wear whatever they tell me to wear. And I will ride whatever they tell me to ride. I'm very okay with that. They pay me to ride a motorcycle. However, they're very, very, very militaristic. Their backgrounds, and I'm okay with that. I know that public image is huge, and our motors unit is highly, highly PR driven. And so they have us in the breeches, the typical motorcycle officer uniform, the boots. We wear a regular uniform. We look sharp. We look pressed. Everything traditionally you would see in a motorcycle officer. We wear some nice coats when it's chilly out. They're windbreaker. They're high vis, the neon yellow. So that we can be seen. I think they're, I'm not affiliated, but they're watershed coats, and they don't give them away. They call them watershed coats, and they're a great coat. Then I can wear another liner under that. A lot of people ask, no. So that's my uniform. Now, I think there's 2 schools of thought on that because it's not the most practical, but let me tell you, it looks damn sharp. Mm-hmm. We look damn sharp, and the public notices it with our motors officers. We get props on it all the time. It's a PR machine. But it's not that practical, like you say, for chasing, for everyday motorcycle officer. Do those boots offer any more protection than Danners? No, not really.
Maybe some burn protection.
But
if you lean against the exhaust.
And I don't get burned. I ride off duty all the time. I'm not getting burned with regular pants. So they're definitely for looks. No, they're hot. Our uniforms are hot. Our breeches are hot. Our standard uniform shirts are hot. There's so much better progressive gear out there if you're looking at from a progressive standpoint like you guys are. What's really practical, what would be more comfortable. But again, I'm not complaining. But I think there's 2 schools of thought. I think the other side of that, Oscar, is some agencies will have like what you're going to wear, Oscar. on day to day, when you're out there taking collisions, when you're out there stopping cars, you're gonna, you can wear what you're talking about, which is your right.
Yes.
Totally chatting.
No, I'm listening.
Oh yeah. Is your typical day to day gear, right? Your operating gear. And then on the side, you can have the Class A for the parades, for the funeral escorts, for the public relations type stuff. And you can get all crisp and put the big boots on, And so some departments do it that way too. This varies greatly from department to department throughout the United States. No, one of the questions interesting, I think I saw it in chat here, and I'm sorry you guys and I love it. You're so busy in chat. It's interesting. No, we don't wear any protective gear. Okay. And as far as the boots are protective, and that kind of stuff, but we don't, and there's so much gear out there. And you guys know from my YouTube channel how much I'm into riding shoes and mesh coats and the CE armor and the elbows. That's what I wear that. I'm testing a speed and strength, 2 different things with back panels. You can't tell they have them, but they look great. They're great style. They offer more protection than most Harley riders ever ride out of their driveway with. I'm really into subdued, high protection, look normal. The jeans, the Kevlar jeans I've tested, the Kevlar jeans I'm currently testing. If you go down, I'm highly, highly protected. I'm more protected off duty when I ride than I'm ever protected on duty.
Right.
Now, we could be, but again, I wear what I'm told. I think that we should maybe in the future be progressive. And again, I don't call those shots, but there are police uniforms, and jackets, mesh that we should be wearing with CE protection in the elbows and that kind of thing, and back panels. Now we get away without the back panels because we wear bulletproof vests. So the guy that was at the NMOA conference, that's what he said. He goes, we design stuff for police, but we don't need to put some of the back panels because you guys already have back panel protection.
Right.
But I do wish our jackets had elbow CE protection. I wish we wore pants that the knees had CE and the hips had some CE, that kind of stuff. I think it's CE protection. I always forget, but it's CE. There is some great stuff out there, but no, we are not that protected if I go down at any type of speed. It sucks. It is what it is. I do my best to train not to let that happen. That's why we train hard, but hopefully that answers that question. Anything else on gear?
Well, let's face it. You can train all you want, but a lot of motors wrecks have nothing to do with the rider.
Correct.
They have to do with other cars.
There are.
And so,
but do you agree? And this is a topic that I talk to people a lot. We minimize, we can heavily by our training minimize.
Yes.
Normal people will get in wrecks. We won't.
I agree.
And you can do that. And we have to do that. We have to be vigilant because we are out there every single day. And riding with lights and siren and in heavy traffic. So, but you're right. There are some incidents that there's just absolutely nothing that somebody could have did, but we greatly, heavily reduce that based on our training. Yes. And then which is why we do that.
Some of the stuff that came out of motor school that I really like is that stuff.
Yes.
The cone course was cool. And well, anyway, I don't want to skip ahead. So
that's good. Yeah.
So gears. So, in the end, gear, there's no standard. Some departments, guys I've talked to are wearing the armor, some aren't. Some are going high vis, some aren't. It's a funny irony that sometimes the look takes precedence over the safety.
You're so right.
And that disappoints me a little bit because that's what cops do.
That's what some administrations, right, too. Cops too, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, law enforcement across the board.
You're right.
We talk all about safety, and then you look at some things we do, and why are you doing that?
Right.
Because
why aren't you wearing a jacket with CE protection? Because I want to look sharp, really, really, in my shirt, right? I mean,
right?
No,
exactly.
Good point, dude.
And it's not just motors,
right?
It is all kinds of stuff. So I get it. I give some credit to our admin. They really, and my riding partner has really been pushing it. Because I don't wear that much armored stuff, and boots and gloves are my big thing because if I crash and I can't wipe my own ass, my wife has to do it.
She already does that.
Sometimes that's different. But, and I typically wear boots, but I don't wear armor. But my riding partner Wes is real big into that, and our admin really took to it. And they're like, "Yeah, you guys need to probably have." So I don't know what we're gonna do in the heat of the summer because we'll have that mesh jacket, but it's still. Right. I've worn one. They're still kind of hot. And an alternate to safety is if I get dehydrated and pass out on the bike, I'm going to go down. Right. So we have to mitigate some of that. But our admin has been big on function and safety over image thus far.
Right. That's great. How that goes. I can't wait to see that new jacket.
And both the chiefs wear when they ride their personal bikes. Both of them wear armor gear.
Good.
pants and coat.
We're going to get you out of that leather that you wear off duty.
No,
Show you some real quality shit.
And I'll never. In fact, if you tell me that next time, I'm coming only in leather.
Yeah, well, you're not going to be wearing leather on duty.
No, I'm talking about like free ball.
Right. That kind of leather. I
in
don't
here,
mean to
in
say
the
that,
I'll put a little thing right here so
that would just take the cake, dude. Channing Rankin says at motor school, you all learn 5 seeing habits, 10-point commentary. Everybody has their own name for whatever that is. I know what you're talking about. We have our own names for stuff, but yes, it's a 2-week school, and we are going to break down what that entails. Heavy into all those kinds of things, commentaries and scene points. And I'll tell you, having been on the road now as a motors officer, a lot of what you learn, you develop based on experience, your own new personal habits, your own new personal, risk versus reward. You have, and a lot of that just comes out and being out there every single day in a battle zone of watching yourself daily. I'll have somebody almost pull out in front of me or pull out in front of me, and I have to stop them and sight them, It's just, when you're doing it every day, all day, and you're doing it in the environment we're doing it, and you're going fast with lights and siren, it's totally different kind of riding than personal people, personal riders out there do. You just have, I can't tell you, and the more experience you get, the more training, the more time, the commentaries like he talks about, I commentary in my head every day because I develop these very, very specific, very strict habits that I have to do to make sure that I come home that day on my motorcycle. Although it's fun, it has to be taken very, very serious. Russell Roberts, frickin' patron and supporter and $20 super chat on YouTube.
I know,
Live,
I just saw that.
It's just, Russell, you know how much I appreciate you. I've told you, I texted him this morning. I was texting Russell Roberts saying, how was our live video feed last night? Because he's like my tech guy away from tech guy, because I can't see it from their end.
He's like your therapist for a therapist.
Totally, dude.
Wow.
And he knows what I'm talking about. And I texted him this morning. I said, dude, how was the live feed last night? He goes, oh, it was crystal clear, man. And he's the one that provided the gear to get this up and going. And so I wanted to ask him, was it good? How did it look on your end? And so patron Russell Roberts, God bless, $20 super chat right here in YouTube Live, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for the continued support, and thank you.
I'd hug you. Wait a minute here.
Oscar would hug you. He's nice and sweaty because we're in the.
Oh yeah, nip to nip too.
I don't know
it's
if
no big deal.
I can't remember if Russell's, when he's done podcasts up here with us when he's in town, if he's been up here during this time of year when it's a sweatshop up here, 15 degrees hotter.
I don't know. I hope we'll get him up. You can come up here.
He really needs to experience that.
Yeah, you just sweat on.
Let's get off gear and uniform. Let's talk about real quick maintenance. And then we're going to get into exactly your school.
Oh gosh, I don't know if I want to relive it.
I want to relive it with you. This was asked. And, speaking of patrons, man, we absolutely couldn't do this, Oscar. That's why I just shout out all the time. And I know some people are like, oh, enough about the patrons. You know what? I'll never stop talking about the patrons because they're the reason we exist. We would have never been able to continue, financially, because we know what we had to do to get up and running. There's no way we could have taken it to this level without our patrons. And I want to thank Gary Long of I'm not sure where, Michael Williams of Rockwall, Texas, Derek Davis of Waterloo, Iowa, Larry Daniels of Mount Vernon, Ohio, Ryan Riley of Cedarhurst, New York, Jerry Lombard of I'm not sure where. That's right. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Pledge a certain amount per piece of content. No risk, because you can put a monthly cap, stay in your family budget. That's right. There's benefits. You can get t-shirts. You can get in that private patron-only member Facebook group. We can get to know you better. You can get to know us. And then top tier access to any of our premium videos up on request. We would love to have you as a patron. All right. So
that one thing, that Facebook page.
Oh, our private Facebook
awesome.
group. It is. It's just,
I monitor it, but I see so much info going. I'm like, hey, I didn't know that. I didn't know. It's
a life of itself now.
It is so cool.
I don't have to. I'm in there as much as I can, and I answer as many questions as I can. But long before I can answer the questions, already people in there
11
answering,
replies, 12
helping
replies.
each other. People going on rides together. People, hey, I'm going to this part of the country. Anybody there want to meet? We got patrons meeting patrons. I know Russell Roberts met up in Canada. Some of the guys. It's just phenomenal. We have the patron meetup coming up in Canada. The only people we're meeting with now when we go on our rides, we used to do general public, but now it's patron only. You got to be a patron, and we're getting hooked up there. John Patton up there, he's making special t-shirts. Anyways, LD and I are going to talk about that. It's going to be amazing up there. We're meeting a lot of the Canadian guys up there and gals. So anyways, let's talk about maintenance. This is going to be short because here's the deal. Yes, we ride the hell out of our bikes. we run them hard in our Harleys. But this is what I go back to. I'm falling back on what a workhorse a Harley Davidson is. I treat that bike 10 times worse than any of you in your pleasure riding treat your bike.
Yeah.
And we don't do one damn thing different for service. We stick to the 5,000 mile, and the oil's black when it comes out. We get those bikes so stinking hot. But that's all that we do. We do regular, we do nothing special. And the Harleys, again, I fall back. That's why it just is it's a workhorse. And we do the regular Harley Davidson 2050 Screaming Eagle oil. I would like to switch AMS oil, but it's one of those things. The department pays for it. This is what they want to do. You know what? It's their bike. I ride it. And if they want to put that in it, I'm fine with it. I mean, I think we'd be better off and cheaper doing AMS oil. And we're working on some of that stuff. They're aware, which is cool, of my capabilities. And they're asking a lot of questions. And I can see in time, there's some talk of having me do a lot more stuff. And they already are kind of using me for some of that stuff, So we're, those things happen slow, and I'm not going to push it. I'm just happy riding a bike. And so that's all we do. We don't do anything different. We adjust our clutches a lot. Like I mentioned in episode 101, we do a lot of clutch adjustment. Now the new 2014 and ons, we have several of those 2017s. They have hydraulic clutches, and we get asked a lot. No, there's no adjustment. They are absolutely rock solid hydraulic clutches. They are what they are. You don't have to adjust them. You don't have to dick with them. You run them till they don't run anymore, and you put a new clutch in. And you can't adjust your handle exactly how you want it, but you know what? Many police officers, including guys in our agency, are running the courses, no problem, without having that cable adjustment, so you can get the clutch exactly how you want it to feel. Learn where the gray area is. The rest will come together, right? And we'll talk about that. Yeah. So anything else maintenance that you want to bring up?
So for the Harleys, maintenance-wise, one of the things is that it's not a shared sump. It's not the motor and the transmission sharing motor oil.
Right.
So
it's a three-hole.
So one of the
three
things,
cases.
The gray area burns the fluid a little bit because you're slipping the clutch.
For a wet clutch, right?
Yeah, for a wet. And the Harleys are a wet clutch. Yep. My Honda's a wet clutch. So my Honda shares an oil sump with the transmission.
A lot of bikes do that. Indians, I think, do that too.
Yep, there is. So
good call, dude.
That might be the only consideration is because you've got a bike like the Honda, using the engine oil for engine oil and the heat generated from slipping the clutch.
Yeah.
We might, I don't know what we're going to do with the Hondas yet. I have no idea. I have to look. But
I don't know what we did with the Hondas either. Did you ask?
No.
Yeah, I'm curious if we did anything different.
Probably nothing different.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. If you use a modern motor oil, synthetic motor oil, they can handle it. They'll be fine.
Right. Okay.
The Harleys, if you were using some, you could probably go farther, but
right.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Nothing special. Nope. We follow the regular maintenance. Some agencies, we're not allowed to put stage 1 kits. I have seen agencies that put pipes. Yes, we are asking about that, and we've asked and been told no. But that's okay. Again, I'm being paid to ride a motorcycle. But some agencies are allowed to pipe them out and put stage 1 kits and open them up a little bit. Ours are not. Ours are completely, our electroglides are stock except for all the police accessories and equipment. And of course, the biker gripper that I was able to
I thought you guys got just the download.
You're right. They did just do the download. So the higher RPM. You're right. Yeah. You're right. We did do that, but that's it. We didn't.
It actually adds fuel, and it adds some fuel, so that's good.
Okay. Which tends to keep it cooler too, right?
Bit,
yeah, a little bit. We've talked about that in the past. Okay.
Yep.
So nothing else on maintenance. Let's move in. Let's just get into it because we're 30 minutes into this one. And I'm going to let Oscar talk about motor school, and then I'm going to interject only because he's been in more recent than me. Of course, I continue to train, but the actual motor school itself. So Oscar, just tell us, start out why, obviously we already know from episode 101, you're a motorcycle guy, you want to get it in the motors unit. This is a passion of yours. It's something you really want to do. It's kind of an exclusive deal. So were you prepared for, and motor school, guys, is here in Washington. Now, this varies a lot throughout the country, so don't think what we're telling you happens in New York. Okay. Right. Unfortunately, we train very hard here in the Pacific Northwest as police officers. We have some of the best training. You'll read that online throughout the country. We're very, very fortunate. We train hard, and that spills over into motors officer.
Right.
Very, very strict schools, very, very strict certifications. Now, the unfortunate thing is there are agencies and there's police officers out there riding that don't get training at all. In fact, you don't have to even around here. There's an agency north of us.
You don't have to go to motor school.
That bought 2 of our old bikes. And they ride them and north of us, and they don't go through school
at all.
No,
Oh, wow.
And
Well,
there's
you don't
some
have
agencies
to.
that just get them out for parades and stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Highly dangerous. And I'm not talking bad about those officers or those agencies. They're just uneducated. And if the officer's agency doesn't provide it to him, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, he's not
I'm not dogging anybody. I'm just saying what we're going to tell you is state of the art, awesome training. But there are agencies throughout the United States that don't train at all. And that's just such a high liability and high dangers for that officer. It just makes me cringe and worry for them. And the other thing is we certify hard. We certify twice a year. Our agency chooses to do that because we want to be on top of our game. Once you go to motor school, technically it's up to you and your agency on whether you hold annual certifications for your motors officers. I think any department that doesn't is crazy. I have my opinions. We're lucky but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. We got to qual twice a year. We have to stay on top of our game. But again, I've already said, why wouldn't I want to be on top of my game in such a dangerous position? I don't know what you guys are going to do. Probably follow our schedule. It sounds like maybe come to our quals, whatever. But so what we're going to talk about is specific kind of to our area, and you will see it vary. So don't think it's gospel for the rest of the nation. If you see some, officers that maybe can't ride so well, that's not their fault. That's just how they do it. Yeah. So Chris Lee's actually, see you soon. Oh yeah, they're talking in the chat room. Okay, so Oscar, tell us, were you prepared for this 2-week intensive motor school? You got your Hondas. Let me set it up. Here's young Oscar, dude. Young Oscar. He's just chomping at the bit, dude, to go to motor school. He's got his new Honda STs from us. He's ready to go. And Oscar's just fired up. I took Oscar out a little bit preschool, pre-motor school, and tried to teach him a little bit of my knowledge. And Oscar's been riding for years off duty. Let me tell you, Oscar's a great rider in our club environment. He knows how to handle a bike, no problem. I ride touching fairings to abreast. I mean, we ride cross country together. Oscar knows how to ride in that environment. Do you feel that you were prepared? Was it hard or was it tougher? Just dive into it, dude. It's your show.
Had I not, so I got to give our host some love because I had a little bit of time. We got the bikes and then, we got them and then we got them, fixed, and one needed a tire and stuff. And then we got them about a week before the class here. And so I went down and practiced a little, maybe I had 3 hours. One of those hours was with you, which is ironically enough where I really learned the most. And then I had, a little bit of time. I kind of rode the Honda down on the back roads and stuff. I was not, because other than I learned from you what gray area was that day. I didn't have enough seat time on a totally different bike. So I've had thousands of miles and thousands of hours on my Harley. And here I'm in this totally different riding style. And I didn't really realize the impact that would make. And then the difference in the clutch and the throttle, it was kind of a perfect storm for me that I didn't realize how unprepared I was. So that had I not got that little bit of time, I don't know what would have happened, because it was totally different. It was like starting all the way over.
See, and it is.
And actually, so then I learned that some bad habits that I had riding on my Harley that I would have never known about had I not gone to motor school.
Right.
And they worked against me in motor school. So it was tough. I had to work really hard. And that first day, so
we'll break down some of those habits later.
Yeah.
But keep going with what you're going.
So I still resist that I totally killed the clutch, because I've never seen a clutch go that fast.
Oscar smoked a clutch.
I did.
A Honda clutch.
I learned
that
the record, at least where in Spokane where I went, was 3 in one class. So,
wow.
And that was for someone who had some experience. Anyway,
holy, 3 clutches in a
same
class?
guy in like the last 4 years has been through 8 clutches.
That's a riding problem.
Yeah, it is. So
that's needs to be fine tuned. Yeah. Not gonna lie. I mean, you can burn clutches, but that's a little excessive.
That's a problem. Yeah,
that's excessive.
So I did burn one. And it was learning the throttle on the Honda and using the brake as a crutch. And so I've talked to different guys about that.
Brake, the rear brake, clutch, throttle. And we're going to talk about that. Brake, balance, clutch, throttle.
And that is not a totally accepted concept, the rear brake.
Yes.
And so some guys rear brake, some guys don't. And at the motor school, so I didn't finish.
Depends what bike you're riding too.
Could be, yeah.
I'll tell you, even the most experienced Harleys, when you're doing an 18.5-foot keyhole, you're going to tap it at least.
You should, right?
You just have to.
I talk to guys.
Doesn't mean you're going to ride it, but
right,
it's there.
Yeah,
yeah.
But
with a BMW, you probably don't need it as much, depending on how nimble. Yeah,
yeah. A lot of that is bike specific. I don't know. I just knew. So I asked the guys, our instructors, one of them about it, hey, am I doing this is wrong on the Honda? And he says, no. He says, you're doing exactly what we're telling you. You know, I use the rear brake a lot. A lot of guys use the rear brake. I says, kind of seems like it's sloppy riding. He says, it's not sloppy riding. He says,
it's making the bike do what you need it to do.
and that's almost exactly what he said. So I didn't feel too bad about it. But granted, I did burn the first clutch. And looking back, I see how too much throttle and
but
and
it
too much
takes
rear brake.
time to figure that out.
It does.
It's pretty typical.
Yep. And so I didn't get through here, which actually was
So
a
you
blessing
did a
in
school
disguise.
here.
I did one day.
locally, and
Yep.
our instructors gave it from our agency, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And so you started and here, and then what day was that?
That was the very first day.
Very
The
first
clutch
day,
died
yep.
at the end of the day.
I
And
felt so bad for you, dude.
I was
Because I know how pumped you were to just get it done,
And
dude.
I was getting it. So finally at the end of
was
the day,
clicking.
It started to click.
And there is a click.
There
Some
was.
people it never clicks,
Right.
but it clicked finally.
It clicked. It was, and then
everybody
the clutch
knows
died.
when it clicks.
Yeah, right. And so I was like, oh man, that was brutal. It was a brutal the whole process was brutal because it was like the perfect storm of a shit show on some things that happened, you know, and then so I'm in motor school, and then
with your partner that you're going to ride motorcycles with at your agency, right? He's in there with you.
We're in there together.
Yep, 2 STs, Honda STs, right? Yep.
And so it worked out.
Local,
actually.
going home every night. That's
Was
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
But it actually worked out that my bike went down. We tried to get an emergency fix. We couldn't get it done in time.
Because your clutch, nobody in town. We have a Honda shop in town, guys here. But
they wouldn't do it.
I can't believe they're in business. But
either way,
it's an interesting place.
Well, and we were supposed to have them ordered, and we didn't order them.
You didn't have them pre-ordered before school.
We didn't have.
You should always have some clutches.
No, you guys.
on hand.
Everyone told Jimmy told us that.
Yeah,
and so did the LT.
It got dropped. The ball got dropped.
The ball got dropped. Who cares where? It doesn't matter.
Hey, at least your ball's dropped. Go ahead.
Well, one of them did. So
one for me.
I probably had they had a clutch, I would have stayed had we not had to order it. But it took a day and a half to get it,
and you can't miss. For the audience out there, that's like missing a whole college quarter.
Yeah,
you can't
show up day one and then come back for the final.
You can't. You'll be so far behind the class, and you'll look like a clown, basically.
Yeah. But it worked out because the next, my bike got fixed, and then Wes broke a foot peg, and we couldn't get a foot peg, so he came and got my bike.
So you took your bike home. You're bailing out of school.
Yep,
because you
getting
can't
into
get
the
a clutch.
Spokane one, right?
And he's staying in this one.
Yep, stayed in this
to
one.
at least get him through. Okay,
Yep.
and he busted a foot peg.
Well, we actually had a coolant leak somewhere.
That's right.
And he busted a foot peg, and so then he came and got my bike and used it for, half the class maybe, and then his bike got fixed. He took his bike back, and I brought mine back.
How did he use your bike for half the class? Because you did get the clutch done?
Yeah.
Where did you take it to get it done?
The Harley shop.
They did it right. Once you got the clutch part in, because our Harley shop will do those. I mean,
they did. They did a good job.
Yeah, right.
And they got us right in.
They used to work on those bikes all the time when we were running them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was a matter of they couldn't get it in time. So they got it and got it done. It just wasn't.
Is Steve up there do it? Is he a Honda guy?
A new kid.
Oh, so he's probably certified on more metric stuff.
Yeah, and he did a good job. And he was a nice guy, and he was easy to work with, and he really did. He got us right in. I can't blame them at all. It wasn't their fault. We didn't have the clutch.
Right.
Had we had the clutch, they would have had a guy do it first thing Tuesday morning. It would have been done by noon on Tuesday. I would have been in the class Tuesday afternoon.
Bam.
So that was essentially our fault for not making sure the clutch
right.
It doesn't matter.
Live and learn.
Yeah, it happened. So, but it worked out okay because we didn't have backups, and we didn't have apparently the important spare parts.
Right.
So it worked out okay. So then I ended up
But at that time, I have to think you were pretty devastated.
Dude,
I felt like shit for you.
I was a wreck.
I mean, honestly, the audience, you're a wreck because you wanted to be in that school so bad.
And I wanted to be around my buddies, people that I knew.
Local, coming home at night, your wife, your family, your kids, coming home, talking about the experience with them. Yep.
That's what I did.
Down in a couple shots, going to bed with sore, aching muscles. That school... you'll pop brutal. Ibuprofen every night and every morning to get your body through that school. I had moleskin. I had blisters on the palm of my hands. That was from the school, Oscar. The blisters on my palms.
I bet it was.
They were
all
from the school, Oscar.
All from the school.
They were.
Because you wear gloves in the shower.
But yes, I get that you were rightfully so devastated because of those reasons, and it is what it is.
That's what happened. So I get into the next school, and
which was how much between time before the next school?
I didn't wait very long. I think 2 weeks. Yeah.
And it was in
Yes.
Spokane, Washington. No, it's
Yep.
Spokane, guys, Spokane, but people from not here say Spokane, Washington. It's about 3 hours east of the Yakima, Washington area. To put it on the map for you, 180 miles.
Torturous miles east.
And so he's not coming home every night for this school. It's still a 2-week school. He's got to start from scratch, right?
Right, all over.
New instructors.
Yep.
And I will tell you, and Oscar will attest that the different motor schools run basically the same, but they can do their own types of drills and patterns, and they get some leadway that way. So go ahead.
Yep. Yeah. So then I ended up there, and
so did you ride your Honda over?
No, it doesn't have any storage. So I ended up and I took both bikes. We learned.
See, that's why I asked that question. You see this? How I do this?
Oh, you're so smart. Yeah. I mean, you're not much to look at, but you are smart.
I'm thinking ahead. Yeah.
I got a trailer, worked out a trailer at the last minute, and truck, and took both bikes, and took the spare clutches. Because it's Spokane's got some
the enclosed trailer and everything.
Yeah,
you're going prepared this time.
Going all in. And
Oscar's, I'm all in.
Hey, you brought a trailer with extra bike? You're prepared. I'm like,
You guys don't know what I've been through.
Oh, man, dang it. And then just from there, and it was kind of a blessing because on the one hand, I came back to my hotel every night and basically went to bed.
Right.
I didn't have any distractions, and we had a good setup. The instructors were awesome, and so they were set up for huge classes.
Okay.
Like classes of 12. So it was like a head dude.
How many Okay, go ahead. Yeah,
it was like a one head guy. They're all of them, I think, except they might all be master instructors, but there's the head dude.
Okay.
And then there was like 2 assistant head dudes. And then there was 2 instructors, and each instructor was assigned a set of guys. So they were actually set up for a class of 12. So each instructor would have 6, and then you'd have the head dude kind of overseeing everything. And then the 2 assistant dudes were kind of running the day-to-day operations and deciding where to go and what to do. Well, we only had 4 guys in the class. So I kind of like had my own instructor, which was really cool.
Nice. And you already had a little experience, and it had already clicked for you. Right. Because it had clicked in the last motor school.
It started, yep.
And so now you're going into it kind of ahead of some of the people probably. Depending on what their prior experience training was. Of course.
And apparently we had a pretty good class. We didn't have the usual shenanigans that other classes have had.
Okay.
So at least that's what the instructors told us.
How many people total, in your class?
4.
4, okay.
4.
That's a good manageable size with that many instructors.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
right.
That's why you got the one-on-one I'm tracking.
Yep. And so that worked out pretty well. We had, one instructor, and then, this group of pattern, me and another guy on this group of patterns, and then these guys over here on this group of patterns, and then the instructors, and then the other guys were always there helping us and stuff too. So that the time I got before it helped out quite a bit, because I think I would have been really, really far behind. Right. So working with you, and then the one day I got, which was just in addition to what you had already told me, helped. But it was a tough deal. And I found for me in the end, it was all in my head.
It is like and I'm glad you said that.
It was, and that's exactly what it was. Like, I could clean the entire course. So the course that you guys have was a little different than when we rode. Right. And we didn't time. There was no time. You could go as slow as fast as you
wow.
want. Yeah. I could clean the entire course.
They wanted you to clean it. Yeah.
I guess. Smoke through it.
Right.
Not perfect. My technique is not perfect. My form wasn't perfect, but I get through the whole class, no issues.
Right.
And then get to the WSP circle and totally fall apart. I fell apart like 10 minutes before the test. I couldn't make it through the WSP circle.
Really?
And then I was like, dear Lord, just clear my mind and let me, because when I wrote it,
it is a
and I
head
didn't think
game.
about it, I could just smoke through it. And I did. First pass, I put my foot down once. Other than that, straight through, done.
Right.
Second pass, I tipped over once. Third pass, no errors, done.
Right.
What the?
Right.
I was a total shit show that whole morning.
Right.
Crashing, dropping the bike right before the test.
Mental got
to you. It was, for me, it was mental. And that really warmed me
I see a lot of guys that do that.
Yep. And that's and everyone seemed to have
once it gets in your head, it's hard to break out.
Yeah.
And once you do, you'll break out. We had a guy recently. Yeah. It's a head game.
And our instructors did a good job they obviously had a lot of experience. I mean, some of these guys have been motors cops for 15 years, and they do classes every single year. So they've seen hundreds of guys just like me come through.
Yes.
And so when I learned that I was not the biggest shit show in all their experience, then that made me feel a little bit better. It was tough. And it was the only class I've been to. Like, okay, you go to a law enforcement class, like I'm a firearms instructor.
Right.
And then
Both of us, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Firearms instructors, the first one, the 2-week one, is considered one of the harder classes in the state.
Mm-hmm.
And so you shoot in, which is not a big deal. You score above an 80% or whatever, and then you learn how to teach firearms, and you do shoots and stuff, and then you shoot out. Was not a big deal. This is the only class where so you start Monday, And then Wednesday's the first test, the intersection.
Start having benchmarks is what they call them.
Oh yeah, benchmarks.
You have to pass certain things by certain days or you get ousted. You're out. And I've seen guys have to be told to leave. Yes, and it sucks. It sucks. Not everybody can make these schools. There's been many guys that have tried and not made it.
That's true. And so here you have, so you like Wednesday, okay.
Both due to injury and lack of ability to do it.
Yes, right. So here I am, we're learning the intersection, which is the basic pattern, and we're practicing it or whatever. And then we do it and we pass, which is cool. And then the next benchmark is Friday. So normally you don't have more than one test in some of these schools. So we have one, now we have two. And in the meantime, we're learning the keyhole. We benchmarked on the keyhole and 40 mile an hour braking. For whatever reason, the braking. So we're learning 40 mile an hour braking. Threshold braking and escape and evade, all that stuff for the benchmark Friday. And we're learning the keyhole and we're learning new patterns for the benchmark Tuesday whole course. So I'm like,
it all just compiles starts compiling quickly.
Crazy. And we're looking at these patterns going, there's no way. That bike cannot go around in there.
And not stay up. My bike cannot stay up and go through there. Yeah.
Yep. And then,
we've all thought it.
Right. And so I get in the keyhole, ride the keyhole perfect, and then I go over to the figure eight and it was a two, like a snowman.
Okay,
not
snowman,
three, but not three, just two.
Okay.
And then
two circles, two keyholes basically back to back. Yeah.
Side entrance.
Yep.
Figure eight it out. And then I'm a shit show on that. And then I'm a shit show on this because we just learned the snowman.
Yep.
Bleeds to the keyhole.
Right.
I'm making this mistake, which they're the same.
Right, exactly.
Why am I making that mistake there?
It's the same pattern, a different configuration.
Exactly.
Right? Yep.
Then I'm making that mistake over there. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was brutal in my head. And then, of course, I showed you the picture. So I went down once and poked a hole in my leg.
Yes, you did get injured.
It wasn't that big of a deal. And I
want to hear about your injury, and that's a perfect spot. Hold that.
All right.
And then we're going to go into your injury. Hey, Bikeaholics, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? 03D has just what you're looking for. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson motorcycles. 03D's got your back with chrome lighting, comfort products, no modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for easy installation. That equals less time installing, more time riding. 03D has a design team with over 40 years experience with a passion for design and innovation. These guys are bikers and care about bikers just like you. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them via email, sales@03d.com, or give them a call, 715-808-0027. 03D is distributed in the United States by Drag Specialties, in Europe by Parts Europe and Zodiac, and in Asia by Twin Art. Check at your local Hardy dealership and ask for those Ciro parts. Head over, check them out, lawbundingbiker.com/Ciro, CIRO. Tell them the Lab crew sent you. We are ourselves a Ciro 3D. We got it in our store for you guys. We're carrying their stuff. We liked it so much. You want to support us. You want to get hooked up with some awesome Ciro 3D stuff. lawabidingbiker.com/store. All right, so Oscar did receive an injury, and I remember seeing pictures of it.
Oh my God.
And it was pretty horrific, dude. I think that, honestly, would have sent some guys home.
Well,
you tried to minimize it. I know you, tough guy.
It was different injuries.
Yeah. Okay.
So what happened was, on my right?
Well, first your ego was injured. Let's get over that, because everybody who goes to motor school, police motor school, I'll tell you guys, I don't care how egotistical and how tough you think you are. I've seen the toughest of toughest guys, and your ego is going to get burst and your bubble's going to get bursted. Yeah. It is the most difficult yet most rewarding thing I've ever done in my 22-year law enforcement career. It is a head game.
Yep.
It is intense. It is psychologically demanding, exhausting. But when you do it and you get through and you're out, and then you get ongoing training and you just get better and smoother, it is because it is so difficult and such a head game, and there are a lot of injuries and there are a lot of that kind of stuff. It is absolutely, I'm telling you, 22 years, and I've done a lot of positions, Justin. Yeah, a lot of positions.
I don't really need to know about.
And a lot of different positions. Not those positions.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. No,
that was when I was younger, bro.
Oh right.
It's called trick.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Anyways, it was the most rewarding, and so here you go, Oscar. It's a head game. It's an ego buster. If you think you're tough, and it'll knock you to your knees a little bit while you're trying to get up to speed with doing that kind of stuff on a motorcycle. So you got injured. Tell us about your injury.
Well, I don't know how I got.
Wasn't
injured.
Your wiener, was it?
No.
Okay.
No, that had a protective bubble around.
Right.
I actually don't know. Okay, so I don't know how I got injured. I just went down and I tried to ride out. So some of these turns, you can actually power out of them. So if you get over a little too far, you can actually give a little more throttle and a little less clutch, and it'll upright. It'll right you a little bit.
Correct.
And but I also learned there's a point where no matter how much throttle and clutch you're going over.
Yeah, right.
So there were some
things you can't save.
Right. And there's, and
it's just wrong.
There was
you
times I should have stepped out and just let the bike. But
that's something people don't realize too.
Well, I tried to power out of it. I legitimately tried.
And sometimes you can save it. The better you get over time, you can go in sloppy like you, and it looks like shit and it feels like shit, but I can fix it. I can fit it. Miss this one. You couldn't. I couldn't fix.
And so on the bottom of the Honda, there's a little cowling piece that pokes out. It's about as big around as my pinky.
It's a little protector thing, right?
No.
That's what I was thinking about that nub. Okay.
I don't know what. It's just part of the plastic. Right. Just hangs down, but it's hard plastic. Anyway.
Bikes.
Yeah, plastic bikes. Somehow it hit my, like on my shin, and it just cut my shin. It wasn't a big deal. It was only a hole about the size of a softball, all the way through.
Only a hole the size of a softball.
No. It was a hole about the size of a quarter.
Okay.
And I didn't even know it. I went down.
Your adrenaline's going. You're always on those courses. Yeah.
I jumped up. One of the instructors came over, picked the bike up. I turned it off, turned it back on. I was about to start it and jump back on and go back to it. And I was like, hey, that feels weird on my leg. And I looked down, there's just blood everywhere. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I don't think that's good. And so I pulled up my pant leg, dude, and my sock was just covered.
Soaked, dude.
It looked like I put my sock in red Kool-Aid.
Oh, my God.
And so they were, everyone laughing. I'm like, oh, I better go. So I went and got a gauze pad and put tape on. It was fine. That was on Tuesday afternoon. No big deal. Rode the rest of the day, and it was a little sore, but I kept my boot tight, which kept the swelling down below. Above, it started to swell a little bit, but it wasn't too big deal. So when I come in Wednesday morning, let's see, what did we do Wednesday? Was Wednesday no, that was Wednesday afternoon. I come in Thursday morning and it's cold and it's kind of cloudy and misty. And, I hear these guys, instructors constantly talking about warming up. And you guys talked about it too.
Go out,
warming up, finding the gray area.
Do some full bar locks, left, right.
Yep.
Do some figure eights before you start going into patterns. Just about a minute or two.
And we didn't. Yep. I didn't do that. We started with the eliminator. We had learned the eliminator on Wednesday afternoon.
You got eliminated.
Yeah, I got. Well, no, it wasn't actually the eliminator. It got me in that I wasn't writing the pattern very well, and so I was struggling that morning.
Yep.
But
weren't using your real estate probably.
Mm-hmm. It was just all kind of whatever. I was just cold. My head was foggy. It was just a crappy morning. I should have just stayed home. Anyway, somehow during that morning, I went down a bunch, dude, and the foot peg on the right side hit that hole, that cut,
right,
like 20 times. And just because of how there was a couple, I went over a couple of times
because now it's injured. It's going to hit it every time.
It keeps hitting it and hitting it. Eventually, there was one time I went down and I didn't, I stepped out eventually, but that foot peg just rammed into my shin and it was already bruised.
Dude.
And so it bruised and bruised and bruised and bruised. And then at lunch, I was already pissed because I was struggling. It was as close as I came to quitting. I'm like, I'm not going to quit, but this sucks.
Right.
Like bad. Like I was just having a hard time. So we're at lunch.
Popping ibuprofen, more ibuprofen.
I didn't have it.
Oh my God. Dude. You don't go to motor school without ibuprofen.
Well,
dude.
I didn't have it on the bike.
Okay.
But, so we go to lunch and then I knew there was a problem because I got off the bike. We rode wherever, 20 minutes through town. I got off the bike and I got into this pizza restaurant. And then I was like, oh, my leg is swelling. I could feel it swelling.
Oh my God.
Because of sitting on the bike.
It looked horrific.
Dude. And then so then when I sat down, I could feel it swelling more.
Was it throbbing?
It was a little throbbing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, that was after hours, bro.
Oh, yeah. I could, when you can feel something actually swelling, I knew there was a problem. And so one of the guys had ibuprofen on the bike. I took some ibuprofen, but it was hard to put my right foot down, which is difficult when you want to put the kickstand down.
Correct.
Because you got to lean the bike, right? Put the kickstand.
Put all your pressure on your right leg, right?
But then I got back from lunch and I'm like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't care. And then I just rode all over. It was great.
Wow, dude. You guys should have seen this thing. It was ugly. He sent a private group me for our club, our motorcycle club. And we were all like, oh my God, dude. And I felt bad. I was like, dude, is this going to oust Oscar from school?
They asked me that and I told
I wondered.
One of the assistant head guys, I said, you're going to have to trespass me from here and arrest me.
Right.
And book me.
I'm not leaving.
Because you can cut me a ticket. I'm coming back.
Oscar he would have literally had to have a broken leg not to continue. And then he probably would have tried to continue. You wanted this bad.
They said a guy, last year's class broke his.
A lot of guys would have left, but go ahead. Yeah.
He broke his foot 5 days, like the second week. And he rode with a broken foot for 4 days. He would not leave. And I said, I am not leaving. I don't care. I'm not leaving unless I'm dead.
Right.
Because I got this far and I got through the intersection. I got through the dang keyhole and the 40-mile-an-hour braking. And then I got through the big court. I said, I'm not leaving.
I'll overcome the pain for the reward.
Yes.
I get it.
I did.
I get it. It's hard for guys to walk away. And I have seen guys walk away with injuries. It just sucks.
Yeah, it does.
You feel bad for them, because that's not an easy decision to make. Something you wanted to do. Who knows when you'll get another chance?
That was it.
Maybe never.
And we had kind of the fate of the program riding on, we can't just have one guy.
Right.
So we had kind of the fate of the program riding on my shoulders a little bit, and it was a mess. And then when we were learning that snowman, we were practicing on Monday for the full course, and I was coming out of the snowman, out of the figure 8.
Yep.
And I would have saved it had I not washed out on a cone, and I went down freaking hard.
Yep.
Because I was going down, trying to throttle out, and then you can run over the cones, but it washed it out. Yep. It washed out and threw the bike out, and bam.
So if you guys don't know, a lot of these drills, and if you see it on YouTube and stuff, motors officers, we're in a full bar lock. That means your bars are locked to your tank. You're in a full lean. You're basically everything about motorcycle and motor school is brake, balance, clutch, and throttle.
Yep.
And it takes a long time to manipulate to get the heavy Harley Davidson bike to be in that position.
Yep.
And not go down on your side. And that takes a lot of, especially at first, a lot of balls to do that. But what happens is if you're in a pattern, and let's just say you're doing a 180 circle or a 360, you guys see these cones, depending on how tight it is, you're going in and you're bar locking, let's just say a full bar lock to the left. And those patterns are made, especially as you get more advanced out of motor school, they get tighter. So really everything has to be perfection, or there's no way that you can turn that bike in that amount of time. They get them so you can't go any tighter with the Harley. They do that on purpose.
Right.
And so what happens is, and every motors officer who's ever trained knows exactly what it is. And it's you have no time. It is like when you are walking and you slip on ice and you never felt it coming and you're flat on your ass. The reason is you're in a full bar lock turn. You're in full lean. And if you get a little wide and you hit the base of a cone, you're done. And you don't see it coming. So actually, sometimes you actually have a vision of it coming before it happens.
Yeah.
But there's no saving it.
No.
You're not bailing, nothing. You are going down like a sack of shit. And that's exactly what you feel like. And there's nothing that can be done about it if you're in that full lock and full lean. And that's what Oscar's talking about. Those bases of those cones, guys, that's the worst.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen, especially when you're learning. And it will happen multiple times. And when somebody goes down when they wash a cone, because it's not a gentle go down, it's whack, and you hear bikes just slamming on pavement. Yeah. And he washed a cone with his front wheel. You can get away with it, but like I say, as you get more experience, you can try to, if it's coming, you can try to stand it up a little bit and blow the pattern instead. But sometimes you're just in full bar and you can't stand it up and you wash.
And that's what I did. And I washed hard.
Yeah.
And that got in my head a little bit, and it kind of interfered. It was just a mental game. When I just wrote
and once you do something like that, that's hard not to get that out of your mind.
It was.
And then what happens is you go in and you do the fatal mistake and you start looking at the cone that you hit. And if you go into a pattern looking at the cone you hit, you're destined to hit that same cone again, because eyes and head and eyes is where you look is where your bike will go, guys. That's very typical. You hear a lot of that in motor school. Head and eyes. As you get more experienced, you can tend to manipulate those things because you get more fine-tuned and you can glance and look at points and marks. But at first, motors training, your first days, especially if you have zero experience, they're going to tell you head and eyes. They're going to get you looking not at cones. They're going to get looking up and out of patterns. Like I say, now I can look at cones. But at first you do not look at them, because if you look at them, you will destined to hit them. Right.
And that was the funny thing is, I was struggling that one day, and the instructor's like, all right, we need to get out of the cones. You're looking at cones and stuff. And I said, yeah, I am looking at cones. You're putting these big ass cones over. I was thinking this. I didn't say this to him because I was really trying to be humble. And I think I did a pretty good job of that. But he goes, we need to go out in the parking lot and practice your turns. And I'm out there, no problem. Just doing the turns, doing figure eights, head and eye, looking around where I need to go. No big deal. Then I go in the pattern, there's some stupid cone. I'm look right at the cone and hit it. And I'm like, it's just it's a function of, I get it. I get why we do it, and I get why we have to have it.
Right.
It's kind of a training scar, and we have those, but there's no way around it.
Right.
I mean, what else do we use?
Right.
So when we talked about the tennis ball thing, I'm thinking for practice, that's one way to minimize some risk is to the tennis balls. They don't wash anything out.
Right.
I mean, they're not as effective, but
you won't be washing in another
shouldn't.
6 months, dude. You
Yeah,
just need
shouldn't.
more time.
Right.
You know, I haven't
Right.
washed in a long time.
well,
Actually
and now
washed. You
I
know,
got to the point where I kind of where you're talking about, where I'm like, I'm just gonna
I'm
blow
blowing.
the pattern.
Right. If I'm that screwed up, I'll just blow it.
Yep,
yeah.
exactly.
You know. Yeah. You're
and that's no big deal.
right.
So, but it was tough, dude.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, when I was training, this time I spent training with you, and then the one day in Yakima, I was sore and stuff. But over there, it went away pretty quick. So my body,
because your mind was so into it.
Yes.
Mind over matter.
Yep, my body didn't hurt as much, but dude, I was exhausted every
Yes,
day from
it is.
just where
You
my head.
probably sleep, and then you wake
Oh.
up about 4 a.m. doing cone patterns in your head.
Yes.
Doesn't that piss you off? Oh, it drives me
Or
nuts,
I would
dude.
go to sleep doing cone patterns.
Even the
dude.
recent conference, motorcycle officers conference I went to,
Yeah.
I woke up 3 a.m. I was like, mother, going over the exact, because there's 2 large courses.
Yeah.
It's a head game. You have to visualize
man.
it. Success is a vision. That's what I
Yep.
tell every motors officer. Success is a vision. You have to visualize it and know your points and visualize it over and over so that when you go into it, that comes together. A lot of stuff like that as a police work. Visualize it. Same with firearms. Visualize it. But you'll visualize it to the point of exhaustion in your
Right.
sleep,
Yep.
and it'll wake you. There's a lot of technique. Obviously, this isn't a motor school. You know, we got into a little bit of gray area, but everything with motors training guys is, and somebody said in the chat room, Rock L. Lingren, oh man, I know what it feels like to be going along and bloop. No, you know, on my side, no idea how I got there.
Right.
He wasn't speeding, wasn't breaking any rules, just happened on a no-see patch of gravel.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yes.
that's exactly what we're talking about. That's how it is when you
Yep.
wash a cone. You're going
Right.
down like a sack of shit on your side.
Yep.
And there's no warning for it. So, but yeah, the challenge coin, I have a challenge coin, but that's what it says: brake, balance, clutch, throttle.
Oh.
That really sums it up.
Yeah.
The 4 techniques all in happening at one time.
Right.
And that takes, as you've heard Oscar, a very long time to master. And he's fresh out of motor school. And I'm not telling you I'm some expert. I still get better and I get faster and I get smoother the more I practice that,
Right.
even to this day. And that will be coming for Oscar. Motor school gets you out.
Started,
And
right.
it gets you the foundation. Now, what Oscar's going to learn on the road from his personal experiences, from things he sees, and his own personal investment in his own training. I invest a lot of time on my own training. Yesterday,
Yeah.
I spent an hour and a half on my own time down on the course just because I am kind of a perfectionist and I
Yeah.
just really want to be good. And, Oscar's going to invest a lot of time, and he will absolutely, every motors officer, if they continue their training, which I encourage them to do, will just become better and better and smoother and quicker, and just that confidence to where a lot of the nervousness will go away.
Right.
And
you know what?
a lot of the nervousness will go.
Riding that full course when I wasn't nervous, when I
Yeah.
didn't think about it,
As soon
it
as you
was
start a timer,
blast.
isn't it stupid?
It's dumb.
As soon as a timer starts and everybody's watching you.
Oh, it's a test. Oh, as soon as this is the test.
Same with firearms.
Yeah,
We
exactly,
shoot
yeah.
guys and then we put them on the clock and they go to
can't do
shit.
it, yeah.
It's the same. It's a mental game.
I could ride.
You
that
want to
all
do
day.
well in front of your peers.
That's exactly it. Yep.
Yep,
And you
you
want
don't-
to pass, and
Yes.
it was the cone patterns. That course was legitimately enjoyable.
Right.
I did a lot of what's it called? I narrated myself, and
Yeah,
it actually
I
was
still narrate myself.
And Be like, okay, here you go, go deep, hard turn,
Yep.
hard turn.
Yep.
Look,
head nice. See?
Yep,
You'll do
and
that.
Then okay, right turn. Okay, look, no, keep looking.
And it makes all the difference.
And it really was.
You have to talk to
effective.
yourself.
I've never done that before. I
really
felt kind of stupid.
See, I do it all the time.
I like it.
And when I start getting sloppy,
Yes.
sometimes I can go in. As soon as I start getting sloppy, I stop and I snap my fingers. I'm like, okay, back to talking to yourself, back to basics.
Yeah.
And as soon as you do it, hang high, look.
Yep.
And
It's amazing.
You just tell yourself the bar lock, hang tight, look, out, dig, whatever your verbiage is.
Yeah.
Gray area, whatever you have to do. Good. And I'm glad, and I encourage people.
It's
and
so funny.
When we went through motor school, I talked to myself the whole time. And not the guys knew it, and they said that's a great technique.
I didn't
to talk
know.
to yourself. Point, where you're
Yep.
looking for points.
Right.
Hit point, whatever.
There's my guy. I kept thinking, okay, go deep. There's the cone. Go deep.
Yep,
Go deep.
yep.
Turn. Look.
Lock, yeah.
No, little throttle.
Yes.
And I come back out of it. And
That's good.
it was great, dude. When I did that and I did it consistently and didn't get lazy, I smoked the
Yep,
course
see.
all the time. So
it's like anything. And then you get comfortable,
Yep.
like I do at times, because I've done the courses so many times, and all of a sudden I start making juvenile, stupid, mistakes. I get out of them, but I feel it. And I'm like, that was stupid. What'd you do? Yeah. You got sloppy. You got
sloppy,
lazy. You didn't follow the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't follow your own rules of how you get through this course, and you weren't even looking at your marks. You were just trying to shortchange it, and God, yeah, it is a diminishing skill. Will you agree to that?
Yeah.
Highly diminishing skill.
I've had to practice on my Harley because we don't have the bikes.
I did it for years on my own Harley.
Yeah.
People saw me. They were always like, can't believe you do that to your personal Harley, because I'd be dragging corners and floorboards, and they saw me drop it a few times. I'm like, it's a Harley. It can handle it.
Yeah.
That's what crash bars are for, bro.
I
don't worry about my Harley that much. I ride the shit out of it. And I know it can handle it. Yeah. Because I do it at work,
I'll be out riding somewhere and I'll find I try not to do it with places with shoulders, because there's a shoulder.
Yes.
You'll use it.
Right.
So I find roads where it's just road, no shoulder, sometimes 4-foot drop offs. And I just at least make good U-turns. Try to make a solid U-turn as tight as I can, figure eight it in the middle of the road, because I don't have the other bike to practice on. We don't have a course.
Right.
So that's what I've been doing. And that makes me more anxious. Though. I know, but I'm like, I know. Honda. So as soon as we get them, we get up and running, we'll put, I don't know, we got to figure out some stuff for our parking lot, because people use it. Right. So I don't know what we're going to do, but either way.
You've got our place too, the fire station over there where we set up our course. Russell Roberts busted my balls, and I love it. Says, I can't believe in talking to yours. Oh yeah, I believe in the talking yourself through it. Yeah, and he also says, I can't believe you're a perfectionist, Ryan. When I said I'm a perfectionist, he knows I am, and it's a good quality, and it's a terrible quality for me because it drives me nuts. But yeah. So did you ever have to do anything with your injury? We're getting close, and I appreciate everybody being in the live chat. Did you ever have to do anything to treat that injury, or did it just get better on its own?
It's about done. It's about healed.
It's still though.
I just put
and that was how many weeks ago?
That was the last week in April. It was like April 26th.
Yeah, dude.
7th.
That's a good injury you had, dude.
It's the swelling is almost all gone. There's still a little spot there. My wife was on me all the time about going to the doctor. I'm like, it'll be fine. And then we got to the point where
wives are smarter than us sometimes.
They drain the water from the swelling and stuff.
Yes.
What was getting worse, not better. And I was like, all right, this was like a week and a half ago. Maybe I should actually go to the hospital, like 2.5 weeks later. And then the next morning I said, okay, God, I don't want to go to the hospital. Make sure, just heal it for me. And I woke up and stopped leaking. So
dude,
I just left it, and now it's fine.
I was worried about infection on that.
You know what's worse is on my left foot that Monday I was here. I powered out by mistake, which is good because I probably would have had a broken ankle had I gone over. But somehow I did something. I pulled a tendon in my foot somehow, and so it got better. Well, I did the exact same thing in Spokane, and so it's still not better.
Well, dude.
But I've been running on it and stuff. I don't care.
Yeah, I know you.
I can still walk.
God. So some of the we'll wind down here. Some of the things I also wanted to mention is in our particular motor school. So we do a lot of the course work. You guys see it all over YouTube. Just some of those cone drills and patterns, very intense. A lot of motor school too. And we talked about it earlier. Somebody made a comment about commentaries. Yes. We also, after you pass the course, anyways, our school, the last 4 days are a lot of the extracurricular stuff. So you're out on the road. Of course, we practice heavily pairs riding. You see a lot of motors officers in big groups riding fairing to fairing. Yes, we ride so close we bump fairing sometimes. You won't notice, but yes, we will do that riding down the road. And we're comfortable with that, but that takes a lot of practice, a lot of trust. We do it a lot, and there are ways, obviously, if you bump fairings, we push away and things like that, but it doesn't mean you're going down, but we're just riding so close, it's bound to happen. Mm-hmm. And we practice pairs riding. We definitely practice. I won't get into all that. Eventually I'm going to do an episode on some safety stuff on the street, but we got to wind this down. But we're out on the road and we are doing those commentaries. Every intersection is a red light. I still practice that daily. I don't just blow even through green lights. I'm clutch, I'm covering brake. We heavily head check every intersection. You have to build those very quality habits. And they can only teach you so much in school. A lot of those habits I've come up now that I'm on the road every day doing it. Yep. I treat every intersection. I stay vigilant. And because I have done that so long, it now is natural and I don't have to think about doing it. even with lights and siren, man, that's even more dangerous because people do stupid shit when your lights and siren are on. And you just have to be so vigilant. Every intersection's a red light. Every intersection's a stop sign. Doesn't mean I'm stopping. What I'm telling you that is that I don't just take a green light, for granted. You guys should be doing that in your personal bikes too. Again, this isn't the episode for that. And then we do a really fun thing here. I don't know. I think we talked about you, Oscar, doing that. We literally take our Harley Davidsons, guys. We go out to our firing range, our firearms range, which is out in the middle of nowhere. It's all cheat grass. And first of all, we go through parks. We go over curbs. We jump off sidewalks with the Harley Davidson. Legitimate
hill climb.
Yes, and
we did a legitimate dirt bike style hill climb.
Yes, and I want to get to that.
That was awesome.
But yes, before the hill climb, yes, we do the whole thing. We ride paths, we ride bike paths, we ride dirt, we ride parks, we jump curbs, we do all kinds of stuff. And that's the great thing about the motorcycle for police work is a lot of the times guys can get in foot chases and they're out of their cars and I can be on my motorcycle driving. And it's amazing what you can do with the Harley Davidson when you have the cojones to try it and get good at it. And then yes, Oscar, you're right. And I'm curious about your hill climb, but we go up to what's called the Gong, and it's way up a hill. I forget how many yards out it is, but it's literally something that a motocross bike should be on, not a Harley Davidson. And yes, a lot of guys have dumped it. Yes, a lot of guys have gone down. And we take our bikes, and that's all part of training on your Harley is you need to know its full capabilities and full limitations. And we go up these hill climbs on these big, heavy 1,000-pound Harley Davidsons. And it's amazing what they actually can do, that it can actually make it up these hills. And then, of course, you're on a steep hill, and somehow you've got to get it turned around. And that's quick with gray area and try to get it facing back down ground. And yes, a lot of guys have went down there too, because now you're up. And it's kind of like when you're snowmobiling or anything, you got to keep on the gas in the gray area and come around and get it face back downhill because you aren't going to do that if you stop.
No.
Now you're backwards. Now you're effed. So it's a great team building experience, great confidence booster. And again, tells us the limitations. Was your hill climb similar?
Ours was a flat to flat. So it was, flat. And then we went like 50, maybe 60 yards. I don't know, somewhere in there. And it was like a sandy sagebrush rock crap. And then you plateaued. The second hill climb was longer and it was crappier. And at the top, there was a little path. So you had to get to the top and then turn right away and then turn again. Otherwise, you hit this big berm. And if you hit the berm, you were going over the handlebars. Because you would have stuck at the berm and then flipped over.
Oh, my God.
And they told us that. Oh, by the way, don't hit the berm because you go over the handlebars. And I was like, God, peer pressure, the stupid stuff we do.
Right.
Because we don't want to look bad in front of our buddies.
Right.
But we did some trail riding, like mountain bike trail stuff.
Yes.
Flats. And I was like, it was amazing that ST just chugged right along. I mean, as long as you stayed doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
It really did a lot of stuff I was surprised that it would do. And we got to shoot from them.
Yes, we did. Oh, cool. I forgot. That's cool. Yeah, we did do a firearms day. Yes. So, good call.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we practiced, and you guys probably did similar. We won't give away all the stuff. We're not giving away. We just don't have time. But yeah, we practiced shooting on it. We practiced coming to a stop and killing it. Without using, the standard way. We actually just hit brake, put one foot down, kill it, and our firearms out at the same time, and we shoot. We practice using it for cover, and all that kind of stuff. Just all basic stuff that you have to be ready for as a law enforcement officer in a motorcycle type environment. You're right. I'm glad you brought that up.
That was fun.
Those courses are all pretty much similar. There's only so much stuff, but getting it stopped and killing it on purpose and getting your gun out while you're doing that with one hand, and getting the bike engine stop. And then we practice just getting them off them and letting them fall. Yeah, right. You guys do that? Yep. And we let our bikes fall all the time. I already told you guys it's no big deal. It's a Harley or a Honda. They have engine guards. Yep. We'll let a bike fall. That's one of the things in motor schools too, is you got to learn is it's okay to let your bike fall.
Yes, right.
A lot of guys and leisure riders, their bike's so pretty, and I get it. Yeah. It's all polished up. And if you have something without engine guards, it's going to do a lot more damage. But if you have a touring bike with engine guards, guys, just learn to let your bike fall. It's not going to hurt it. On the very underside of your crash bar, it'll scrape it up. Nobody sees it. I've dropped my personal bike many times. You'd never know just because I've been training on it for years. You kind of got to get over that. You just, and it's a hard thing because the mental says it's a $40,000, $30,000 Harley. Yeah. Oh, it's going to hurt it. It's going to wreck it. No, it's really not. No. They're made to do that.
If you go down, okay, hold on. If you go down hard enough, if you're doing
I'm talking about just dropping it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah. Straight up. Yeah. But if you're moving 5-10 miles an hour and it'll go down a little harder. It'll do some damage.
And it can go up over the engine guards and hit your fairing, your batwing fairing, and we have scraped them and things like that. Yeah, but that has to be a little bit harder.
Yeah, just straight up dropping them. I've dropped mine a few times. I've had it one time. I dropped it, scuffed a corner of the saddlebag. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't have a saddlebag guard.
Well, that's why I have saddlebag guards now because of that.
I'm going to get some because of that. But other than that, I've dropped mine a few times and I still catch it because my years of riding a dirt bike, I'm used to that.
I know.
But
you can get injured doing that. We've had officers going out of motor school with serious back injuries trying to save their bike. The heaving while it's trying to go down. We got to teach guys, just let it go. And because you can seriously pull like some serious, you know what I mean? Just let it go and pick it back up.
There was a couple of times my foot got sucked under.
Yes.
Trying to save it. That was the worst thing.
That's how people have broken ankles, snap legs.
Yes.
That's why they try to get you to just let the bike, it's not going to hurt the bike. Let it go, get away, just let it go.
Yep.
I know it's a hard concept. You got to get used to that. And then of course in motor school, yes, you have to pass, and yes, you have to pick up a fully equipped Harley-Davidson motorcycle. You have to learn how to pick it up by yourself from a down position. There's multiple tactics to do that. There's a lot of videos on YouTube. I eventually, on my long list of to-do, I'm going to do videos on that eventually someday.
Yeah.
We have
I liked forward facing. I didn't like putting my back to the bike. I tried both.
Right.
And forward facing, I can get my knee into the tank.
Yes.
Push.
That's what I do.
I really don't have any problems, but over there, they wanted us to do it with our backs.
Right.
Put your back to the bike. And I had a hard time.
They told us to do it any way you wanted, as long as it was one of the recommended techniques.
Yeah.
They just like that one.
Yep.
I should practice that more. I do it. Yeah. Get my hip and under the, and listen, it's not an easy feat, guys, but I know how I can do it. I do it all the time. Not that much anymore because I don't drop that much, but I'm really, 160 pounds. I'm 5'8", 160, and I have 1,000-pound. Yeah.
These? Oh, when you have these?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
When you're a beefcake.
When you pick it up one hand.
When you're a straight up beefcake dude like you.
You want me to do it again?
The big guys, dude, it's a lot easier for the big guys. It is. You have the body weight behind it. And I'll tell you, when I was 60 pounds heavier, Fat Ryan, when I was Fat Ryan,
before AIDS,
it was a lot easier to pick up a bike. I still do it, no problem, but I definitely feel myself. I have to make sure my technique can heave. I'm, like I said, 5'8", 160, and that's 1,000 pounds.
You keep doing that ballet, dude. It'll make you stronger. Yeah.
I mean, just become a beefcake like you did.
Yeah. No, I don't think you can. I mean, it took a lot of years to build this.
Yes, and the Hondas are 200 pounds lighter.
They're lighter.
So I remember picking up Hondas. That's like a lot easier. Picking up a
I just
Honda
pushed
than a
it
Harley.
like that. It was
with your pinky, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, pinky.
Straight up.
Yeah.
What's going on in the chat? And we're going to wind this out, dude.
I can't focus on.
That's a great part 2 of 2. I do want here, and I do have a couple more things to say as we wind this down, and you might want to, if you have anything, jump into.
Rock Lindgren says, unless it's your baby, then just let it fall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I let like I said, my personal bike is.
I dropped one of my kids once, but they were fine.
Right, yeah, that's fine if you drop them on the head.
I was trying to power them out, and they didn't go.
Donations, we love our patrons. We want you to become a patron. We want to see you in the private Facebook group. However, if the way you want to support us is through just a flat donation, we never balk at a flat donation. Channing Rankin of Longview, Texas, and he's in the chat room right now, isn't he?
He was.
I talked to him in the chat room. Arizona Corral Company of Yuma, Arizona.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, Jose Cauto of Kent, Washington, right across the mountains from us. Sweet. Shout out Kent, Washington. He says, message, great job. Keep it up, guys. John Palanowicz. God, that's a hard one. Palanowicz of Northburg, Massachusetts. Substantial donation. E.G. Veleza of not sure where, and David Meister of Macedonia, Ohio. Lawabidingbiker.com/donate. They took action. They want to support us. They want to make sure that the biker revolution continues. And this group has been just great, this chat group. And you see guys in there talking about where they live and where they ride and maybe meeting up. I saw some of that chat earlier. Thank you for everybody that did the super chat. So take it out. Oscar, anything else that we missed that you think is kind of important? We didn't talk a lot about the technique. We just can't get into that. It's really something you have to show and be involved in. So
one thing that I really learned that I really like, that I really take some practice to begin with, that I want to pass on, is at stoplights.
Yes.
Do not be the first to go.
Yep.
And they hammered on us on that. And I still have to practice it because it's not natural yet. But when that light turns green, if you're at the light and that light turns green for your traffic, whatever, say you're going east and the eastbound light turns green, wait. I try to count to 5 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005.
Especially if it's a more of a blind intersection for sure.
True.
Yes.
Because that stop sign runners will then hit the cages around you and not you.
Right.
And man, I see so much value in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I catch myself just taking off.
Right.
And I was on my bicycle. Okay, fine. I was on my bicycle the other day at an intersection, Terrace Heights.
In your spandex?
I was on my spandex. They were covered with, no, they weren't. They were out there. Garbage truck. So my left turn, I was 3 cars back. Left turn, green for us to turn left. Fully loaded garbage truck runs the red going west.
Yep.
Right? Dude, good kudos to the car in line. First car, he stops. 1001, 1002, 1003. Audi runs the stoplight. Whew. She wasn't even looking.
Right.
At the last minute, she looked up
Following
and saw
the car
red.
in front of her.
Yeah, as she was following that truck. She looked up
Driving
and saw
3
red.
feet off her hood. Yep.
And she was a ways behind. She was a ways behind the garbage truck, but she saw the red in the middle of the intersection. By the time she was able to brake, she was through the intersection.
Yep.
And I'm like, had we gone, she would have schmucked the car right in front of me and me because I ride pretty close on my bicycle.
Right.
And so,
yep, that is one of just hundreds of tips I could give right now.
Oh man, that was one of my favorite ones. Is just
what I want you to do is compile, because I have had this on the list forever. But I want you to get out on the street for a little while,
okay,
and start compiling all the things that you'll learn and teach yourself. And we're going to bring those back to a podcast. And it'll probably be a 2 episode about things we see, things that we can definitely tell you. Regular riders out there, it's things they don't think about.
Yes,
it's things a lot of people don't think about.
Yep.
We've been forced to think about them, and I was practicing a lot of them before I was even a full-time police motors officer. But also try to note, if you can, keep an open note. I'm serious. We've been asked about this, of things you see motorcycle riders doing on a day-to-day basis that are dangerous.
Right.
Just for instance, one is guys riding through town with their feet on their highway pegs.
Yes.
It's dangerous as shit.
Right.
Okay. You have 0 reaction time because your highway pegs are for the highway where it's straight and you can see long. Okay.
Yep.
But it's just simple things that bikers don't think about. You have to give yourself every advantage. I don't want to get on a tangent. We're going to do an episode like that.
Right.
Of just things that we do daily to stay alive and stay safe.
Right.
And things, God, I can think of a ton right now, but I want you to,
got it. I'll do it.
We're going to do that episode or probably a 2-part episode, but, thanks for being on this Memorial Day weekend. If you're listening to it in a podcast format later, that's great too. But we did record this on Memorial Day weekend. And shout out to everybody in our armed services. If you are active, if you have served in the past, if you have loved ones that are serving, if you have significant others, family members, all that kind of stuff. God bless each and every one of you out there. We heavily support our military here. We heavily support our armed forces here at Law Abiding Biker Media. They are the very reason the sacrifices that are made, the continued sacrifices that are made, are the very reason we can sit right here from this studio and broadcast worldwide and have a chat room, and that you guys can ride your Harley Davidson with the wind in your face, or your BMW or your Kawasaki, whatever it is. You can have your knees in the breeze, that you have the freedoms to do that you have the freedoms to belong to this community. I'm telling you guys, you really, really don't forget what Memorial Day weekend is about. It's easy to do. I really, from the bottom of my heart, go out and want to thank the men and women that serve in our armed forces, and those that served in armed forces, around the world and with allied countries and things like that. It's just awesome, guys. Awesome. Thanks for doing that, because it gives us the ability to do what we all love, and that is ride motorcycles as much as possible, guys.
Amen.
What do you think about that for going out?
That's a good extra.
Oh, God, guys. Yep. We have a lot of people in this community that are military and former military and all that kind of stuff. So every chance you get, even if you're listening to this in podcast format recorded later, every chance you get to thank somebody in uniform, armed services, give them a handshake, give them a thanks. It goes a long ways. When you see them in restaurants, go up to them, whatever. I think that goes a long ways, and that's what we need to be doing right here in this great country. So with that said, yes, I already did that. Let's talk. What are we going to do here? Oh, don't forget, guys, we are an official Vance and Hines dealer. We have tons of stuff in our store. lawabidingbiker.com/store. Pipes, intakes, EFI tuners, the Fuel Pack 3, which we have a complete, very popular video on. You don't see it in there. We can't carry every Vance & Hines product. We can't list every single one, but we list a lot. If you don't see it and it is one of those unique Vance & Hines products that you want, just contact us. Rick over there, Big Daddy Kane, ready to serve you. We have extremely competitive pricing. Help support us. You're going to get great customer service. You're going to know the face behind the store. A lot of the stores you guys order from, you have no idea who's running those stores. You know exactly who's running the store. It's Law Abiding Biker Media. It's Big Daddy Kane. And he really takes care of bikers over there. We've got that Vance & Hines over there, of course, and we sell a lot of that stuff. We have a very good relationship with them. Of course, while you're over there, you can browse our other products and our Bike Right and Bug Slide and all that kind of stuff, guys.
Browsing on your browser.
Yes. Don't forget podcast hotline phone number 509-731-3548, or you can leave an internet voicemail from anywhere in the world right from the microphone built into your computer. It's high quality. lawabidingbiker.com/voicemail, guys. All right. Don't forget, if you're listening in iTunes or you're listening in Stitcher Radio, lawabidingbiker.com/iTunes or /Stitcher Radio. Please leave us a rating wherever you're listening. If there's a way to rate us, give us that good old 5-star rating. Leave us a comment, a props. It helps bump us up in the rankings so more bikers can find us around the world and join this thing we all call the biker revolution. We're out.
Peace out.